happy hosts make happy tournament. And although it's not been 100% flawless from the host nation so far, the 2026 World Cup, the hosts have all now officially opened their World Cup campaigns. We had mixed results on day 2, but crucially, the trio of hosts completely remain unbeaten, and 2 of them are already partying their way after decisive victories. Mexico on the opening day, and the United States of America with a thumping 4-1 victory over Paraguay on day 2. So day 2 of the World Cup had a lot of interesting occurrences that we'll be talking about as far as the on-field issues are concerned. We cannot complete a discussion on day 2 without highlighting the biggest story of day 2, which unfortunately has to do with Ghana's Black Stars. So I'm talking about Canada's refusal to grant Ghana's midfielder, Thomas Partey, visa entry into Canada for Ghana's first game against Panama in Toronto. FIFA officially issued a statement to confirm the news. And this news has sparked swift, intense condemnation from Ghanaian supporters. Ghana's Sports Minister Kofi Adams has come out to express his disappointment based on the presumption of innocence, and that the Canadians are treating this as a conviction rather than a player who has been charged with an offense. And we've heard several other people weigh in on this. Now look, I've been incredibly vocal about this. I believe that this is a total regard for the legal principle of presumption of innocence, and this is frustrating because you expect everything to be done with a sporting consideration. Partey absolutely deserves his place in this Ghanaian team, despite everything that people have said. But that said, Canada operates under its own domestic legal framework. Visas are essentially discretionary by the nation, and national sovereignty will always trump sporting appeal, regardless of the concept of lex sportiva, which essentially is what creates the contracts that host nations will sign with FIFA, which allows them to look at certain decisions relating to officials and players who are traveling into the country for the World Cup and other events through completely different lenses. But this has happened, and we'll have to put all the emotions aside. And this is where the officials of the Black Stars will have to end their keep. We have to view this situation as a massive banana peel that could slip up the Black Stars. This isn't just about losing a player and his unavailability to be on the pitch. It's about the mental weight that the entire Black Star squad will be carrying. And there are a few questions that the officials must begin to ask themselves, and scenarios that they have to plan. This is disappointing, but it's not completely unexpected. So I'd expect that there is a contingency plan that is in place. Is this a heavy distraction for the team? How is it affecting the camp dynamics and the camp morale? How are the remaining players reacting to this? How are they dealing with this? Have they adequately been prepped for this particular scenario? There is a circus that will build around this, and it will be weaponized by opponents like the English. Have the players been adequately prepped on how to handle this circus? There will be unwanted questions that will be asked them at the mixed zone, not related to the football, but related to this party situations, because journalists can ask any questions in the pre-match press conference. Journalists will come, and whoever the Black Stars representative from the players is, they are likely to bring up these questions, perhaps as a way of throwing the team off. And Ghana needs to act decisively to insulate the players and this campaign from this noise immediately, because Ghana's tournament could be derailed even before it kicks off if we do not handle this. This is like going into battle without one of your generals. Rather than cry over spilled milk, you quickly regroup and you do your scenario planning and put in place remedial measures for any potential scenario. Nana Kwekwajiman is a former coach. He is also a former referee, a very good friend of mine. And having had such extensive experience on the bench, and also with the national team, it was at the 2006 World Cup covering for Ghana, I have sought his thoughts on all of this and what it means for the Black Stars as far as their campaign is concerned.
The Ghana Black Stars dominate the media narrative, for example. The answer to that is yes. It's dominating the media narrative. You know, does the repeated media scrutiny affect his preparation? I think it does. Immensely. And what about, does it affect the team focus? I think it does. It's affected everybody's focus. Team, technical team, management team, you know, the entire population of Ghana, many countries in Africa, pundits in the United Kingdom who have jumped in about the issue. I think it has affected all of our focus. And what does it do for squad psychology? You know, I think we've got a psychiatrist there, one. I think we need much more than one. It's not only Thomas Partey who needs psychiatric assistance. The entire squad, the entire technical team, the entire management team even require psychiatric assistance. You know, because this has affected the squad. It has affected the technical team. It has affected the management team. It's even affected the Ministry of Youth and Sports, or Sports and Recreation. He's waded in, you know. So it's serious. There's a huge effect on the squad psychology. And does it place additional pressure on the teammates and the coaching staff? Once again, yes, it does. There's no two ways about that, you know. And one of the biggest things is, does it alter the image that Ghana projects or would like to project during the biggest, you know, football gathering of them all? And I believe it does. It does alter the image that we are projecting. So you see, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. You know, there are too many distractions in the build-up to major matches, because this is going to continue now until the game against Panama. And let's just presume for a moment that the Minister of Sport and Recreation, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they've made some representation, and let's just presume for a moment that they are successful, and then he's allowed in Canada. He's allowed to come. He's allowed to participate, to be called in to play in that match against Panama. Do you really think he's got a peace of mind? Do you really think that Thomas Partey will have a peace of mind and his game will not be affected if he plays against Panama? I'll leave that for you to answer. I know the answer. I know the answer.
So that's my good friend Nana Jiman, and over the course of this tournament, you'll be hearing his views on the World Cup VAR. Let's start in Toronto, where history was written in pure sweat for the host Canada. After enduring a perfect record of futility over the years in previous tournaments, where they had failed to even garner a single point. This is 6 losses we are talking about. Canada have finally broken the curse, if you could call it that. They fell behind early to a brilliant goal from Jovo Lukic's header, marking his first international goal for Bosnia and Herzegovina. The stadium went quiet, but you have to compliment the Canadians because they still managed to motivate themselves. And the memories of Qatar 4 years ago, where they failed to win a single game, was creeping in, but eventually Jesse March's side managed to get an equalizer. Enter Kyle Larin. He came on as a second half substitute for the Canadians, and he managed to get that crucial equalizer. So officially, Canada have had their first point at the World Cup. It may not be the 3 points they were looking for, but it's definitely a start ahead of their game against Canada. But it's definitely a start ahead of their second group game against It's definitely a start ahead of their second group game against Qatar. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, the U.S. men's national team, as they like to be called, showed absolutely no mercy as they swaggered to a comprehensive 4-1 victory against Paraguay. Mind you, Paraguay are not a bad side. They're a very decent side from South America, and many felt that they were one of the teams capable of making it to the second round stage of this World Cup. Well, that's not what happened at the Sophie Stadium. An early own goal from Damian Bobadilla opened the floodgates, and this was followed by a relentless masterclass in pressing, in high energy movement off the ball and on the ball by the Americans, and nothing conceptualizes that better than the performances of Pulisic and Folarin Balogun, who managed to net a brilliant brace. Pulisic pulled the strings for the Americans, and then later on, Gio Reyna, who is almost like the prodigal son of this American national team, immensely talented, but looking for the platform to prove his talent after being involved in so many controversies. Well, he managed to score a stunning goal, with the outside of his right foot to cap what was really an impressive win for the Americans in their first game, and it will give them a lot of ambition and hope of making it far within this competition. So now let's check our VAR vote. As far as the key statistics from day 2 of the FIFA World Cup is concerned, Folarin Balogun became the first American to record multiple goals in a World Cup match since Bert Patenot, who did that 96 years ago, and we are talking about the 1930 World Cup. Ironically, that record in 1930 was also against Paraguay. Not bad for a guy who swung back and forth between England and the US at youth level in terms of which country he wants to play for, before eventually pledging his full allegiance to the Americans. But the headline in terms of technical play and efficiency on the day for me belongs to Chris Richard. According to Opta, the centre-back completed all 87 of his attempted passes with 100% passing accuracy. Now, that is the most passes completed with a perfect record by any player in a World Cup match since data tracking began in 1966. It's absolutely flawless for the Crystal Palace man, and it bodes well for the US as far as the upcoming matches are concerned. Now, there are many people who have been concerned about the introduction of a glut of new rules, IFAB rules by FIFA for this World Cup, and people who have been thinking perhaps that this will slow the pace of the game and cause stop-starts. So far, we have not seen that after 2 match days at the World Cup. But I'd like to highlight what for me was a fascinating application of one of the rules. It's a referee moment for me. 50th minute of USA versus Paraguay, and this highlights the evolution of the tournament rules and the positive side of it. Now, US captain Tim Ream made a sliding challenge on Miguel Almiron. Many people will remember him from his days at Newcastle United. The Paraguayan attacker took a couple of steps and then he collapsed. He went down, prompting the referee to pull out a yellow card, which was shown to Ream. But then we saw a rare niche application of VAR protocol to completely reverse the booking due to mistaken identity. Now, there's one of the rules, and based on the conceptualization, you'd have thought that it would have been applied in a case where perhaps there were many players and the wrong player was booked. Nope. For the uninitiated, the mistaken identity protocol is a very specific safeguard. It allows the video assistant referee to intervene if an on-field card is issued to the wrong individual, or even if an infraction was actually committed by the opposition player. So in a tournament this tight, avoiding erroneous suspension is everything and could be the difference between people having a key player available or not. And I think the system worked perfectly with the referee checking the VAR and deciding that this was simulation. So he pulled Tim Ream's yellow card and instead awarded a yellow card against Miguel Almiron for simulation. Amazing. This is what we want to see as far as the referee application of the rules are concerned. But that's your day 2 review. Hit the subscribe button for more World Cup VAR breakdowns on Yo Charley. Enjoy the football, keep your focus, and I'll see you after the final whistle on day 3.